one maxed out MacBook Pro, one iPad Pro, one Springboard Bootcamp. Yo, this is Oscar, and I am coming back to the design world. Will these tools help me become a professional product designer within these next couple of months? Welcome to my series on Dudify, my journey to becoming a product designer. Hey guys, welcome back to Dudify. Hope you guys are doing good. So in this video, I'll be showing an informative interview with Suzanne Chong. She works at the Amazon Alexa. So she calls it Amazonians, which is pretty creative, I think. I asked her several questions that are very useful and helpful for UX designers or people that are wanting to get into like the big company industry. So yeah, stick around to this whole video. Suzanne was actually really nice and very genuine, and her answers were really like good. So yep, better watch this whole video, and hopefully you guys like it. If you guys want to contact Suzanne, I'll leave some information below down in the description, where you guys could connect with her if you guys would want to. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, comment what you guys think of this interview. So yep, stick around. Hello.
Hi, Oscar. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Yes, really well.
Yeah. Is it Suzanne?
Yes.
Yeah, Suzanne. Yeah, how are you?
Hi, Oscar. Nice to meet you. I'm doing good. How's your day going?
Yeah, good. Good so far. Nice to meet you too.
Very good. So where are you based at?
New Mexico.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
What about yourself?
I'm in Bay Area.
Oh, the Bay Area? Nice.
Yes. Yeah. Did I answer one of your questions?
You're funny. Yeah, thanks for joining me here, by the way. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks for having me. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for letting me record you for my YouTube channel, by the way.
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't mind at all. As long as, I say something useful. I think it gives me a little more like, okay, I gotta watch out what I say.
Well, you don't have to worry about that. I could like probably edit it if you want me to,
All right. So you got some editing skills, it seems like. It's one of your specialties.
Yeah. Let me ask you questions, but before like I ask you questions, I wanted to like introduce myself a little bit.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So like my name is Oscar, and I've been digital designing since I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like designing was a passion like for since then, and I've been doing it for a while. I worked for small and medium companies throughout my undergrad, and then in my undergrad I studied health, nutrition, and psychology. And then I'm looking forward into working in a large company soon. And this year I started Dudify, so it's my brand that I started this year. And the reason I started is because I wanted to help others succeed in doing the impossible. So like taking on like challenges and showing people like how to like a guidance for them to succeed.
Amazing.
Yeah. And yeah, that's basically it. Oh, and also started Springboard this year.
Okay.
And I saw that you worked at, I mean, you went through Springboard on 2018, 2019.
Yes.
Can you tell me like about like your experience like before the program and after joining the program?
Yeah, sure. I think to answer your question, I think it'd be good. Maybe I can give a little bit of intro of my background because I think that answers your question about this.
Yeah, sure.
So, I think I was one of those kids who was very jealous of someone like you who started with design very early. You mentioned that you became a designer when you're 14. I was not one of those kids. So I even though I was born in California, I grew up in South Korea in my youth, and I came back to California about in like middle school. But when I was in South Korea, I was going into like become a scientist track. So there was like all these like a geeky like competitions that I signed up for every month almost, and I was one of those very like a mathematic kid who loves solving mathematic problems. And then I came back to California And I don't know, it was just kind of very interesting route that I met someone, a mentor,
Mhm.
and she was a designer, and she kind of taught me how to draw, and it became a way of expressing my feeling when language was very difficult in a way.
Yeah.
um, so it just became a hobby for me, and then here I am, I'm a UX designer now.
That's so
so
cool.
um, so before Springboard,
Mhm.
I learned like traditional graphic design from design school, and then
Mhm.
I learned a little bit of interactive design at school, but mostly I picked up through work, through different agencies, and mostly for automotive brands. So marketing campaigns and websites and applications and stuff. And then I've moved to San Francisco, and I did more marketing driven websites and
Uh-huh.
mobile applications. And since it's in San Francisco, it was a smooth transition to move from automotive brands to technology brands like Intel, Apple, Google. So it became very product driven. So
Mhm.
it became more like a product design work that I did. And then after I got married, I moved to Switzerland. And over there, it was kind of another challenge for me, because since I moved from South Korea back to California, and there was some sort of career change from mathematics to design,
Mhm.
and from California to Switzerland, even though I had a job, UI designer at a fintech company, like a finance startup,
Mm.
that was not the job that I wanted, honestly. And I came all the way to Switzerland. And do I have to work for a company that I'm not really passionate about? No way. So I was like, this is not cool at all. So I actually had to stop working. And that was the time that I reached out to Springboard, because I need maybe a few months of education that I can really kind of revisit what I like know in my head,
Mhm.
and also learn something new and meet new people in like diverse sectors of people who work in UX design industry.
Mhm.
So I think before Springboard, majority of the work that I did, it always had a lot of visual design into it. Even though my job title was interaction designer, interactive designer, art director, there was all these different kind of titles that I had.
Mhm.
But eventually, there was always some visual design that I had to. And I really enjoyed it, but I didn't want like every daily life is so visual design oriented. So that's why I found Springboard, and I start kind of doing my own education in a way, because I love how it's in your own pace. So you can choose the right time to learn about all the principles and methodologies that they have. And you can do it anywhere. I think that was really,
Yeah.
yeah, very
Yeah.
convenient. And
Mhm.
also, I really enjoyed meeting my mentor. He was Andre, and he lived in Brazil. I think he's still living in Brazil. I'm not sure, but when I was taking the class, it
Mhm.
was really interesting, because the work that he's been doing, it was mostly for children related UX design, and I never done any like building features for children education. So it was very interesting to hear from another UX designer, my mentor at the time, and he's doing an amazing job, and he's sharing all his personal experiences. It's
Mhm.
been working for him. So it's not so it was kind of assuring and fun at the same time. Because it's like all the learning that I'm getting from Springboard, he's
Mhm.
actually doing it in real life. So it was very assuring to see how he's making it very applicable in a
Mhm.
way. So after Springboard, I think it became a clear sign for me that okay, I definitely want to go into UX design route. So
Mhm.
even though there's a job that's it's like a semi UX design and semi visual design, I'm not gonna go for those jobs, but I will look for a job that is purely UX designer jobs. So meaning building more frameworks, and work closely with a visual designer to have more solidified design for prototyping. So I think because of the Springboard, it became a very clear kind of career transition
Mhm.
from interaction designer who can do visual design to UX designer who willing to work with prototyper to make a solidified finalized design together. I think Springboard helped me through that transition.
Yeah, that's awesome. Glad that Springboard was able to like help you in that way. It's
Mhm.
incredible. Yeah, I also feel like Springboard has helped me too, like a lot since I actually joined the program, and I feel like I'm so much better now. And I feel like all the gaps of knowledge that I was missing, I felt like I
Mhm.
they got like filled in, and they're still being filled in because I'm still like in the program.
Mhm.
But yeah, I really like Springboard, and I felt like I could relate with you too.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what got you into like you mentioned that you worked like Amazon, like what made you how'd you become interested in joining Amazon?
I hmm. I honestly speaking, when I was looking for a new job, I was trying to find another opportunity to come back to Bay Area
Mhm,
from Switzerland. And it was after that I made a call that okay, I want to be a UX designer.
mhm.
Um, that was that time it wasn't clear for me whether okay I only want to work at Amazon. I wasn't like that to be honest with you.
Ok
But it was more of a
uh,
finding a job opportunity that really excites me
mhm,
to learn new skills. And always I'm a learner and also leader at the same time.
mhm.
If it hopefully it doesn't sound too bossy in a way, but I what I mean by it is there's something that I want to learn from others or from through the work process,
Mhm,
and also there's something that I know I'm confident that I'm good at, and I can bring something to the table. I think that was really important for me to come back to my hometown.
mhm,
And second is I wanted to work for a team that it feels like a startup but it's part of the big company so you get to do a lot more than you don't have to worry about whether it's going to get successful you're going to get funds so it's like very innovative but uh, kind of grounded at the same time so s- so with that being said I think Amazon Alexa shopping that's the team that I'm working right now and I think that team really exceeded my expectation of these two questions that I had.
mhm.
So it wasn't Amazon that I wanted to work for, but it was that team. When I interviewed, it made me a clear sign that okay, this is a team that it's so worth to move back to my hometown with.
Right, right. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, um, how was the interview, by the way? Was how was it like when you started working at when you started applying for like Amazon?
It was overwhelming,
Yeah.
Oscar.
Yeah.
Because I literally had 1 week because
Uh,
I had to go back to Zurich
uh,
because I didn't move at the time. So I only had 1 week, and honestly, I had to do 2 interviews within that 1 week that I'm in Bay Area.
uh,
So it was still, I was like, what time is it? Like, I'm still like not adjusting with the time, jet lag. And at the same
yeah.
time, I think, okay, one thing that even though I was jet lagged, I think
Uh-huh.
I always tried to prepare myself as much as I could.
Right.
So I made a very dedicated deck for those 2 companies that I applied for, and one was Amazon and one was Facebook, honestly. So I reach out to people who work at Amazon and
Mm,
Facebook and
mhm,
try to hear any tips or feedback or questions that they can bring to the table to learn. Right. So the best tip that I got from Amazonian is the people who work at Amazon. It's called Amazonian.
mhm,
My Amazonian friend told me that Suzanne, you need to memorize Amazon's leadership principles. And I was like, what is leadership principles? So he sent me all of these links that I can read and I can memorize and
mm.
get prepared. And that was the best tip that I got from him. Thank you, Stephen. Um, and from there, what I did was I made a new deck.
Mm,
I was like, forget about my online portfolio because that everybody can see it. I want to make it more Amazon oriented. So I picked two projects that I'm mostly proud of,
mm.
and I thought it's most relevant to Alexa Shopping, and apply those leadership principles into those two projects.
Oh,
So that
nice.
became a presentation deck when I talked to Amazon.
Mm,
Um, and for Facebook, I think the one tip that I got from my friend was, Suzanne, just be very casual. Be very casual and transparent, and trying to share everything you got, and you will do great. So it was very vague, um, and and I think just my personality wise, I think it suit Amazon better because I like to build frameworks, and I like, actually I appreciate when there's some sort of guidelines
mm.
that I can picture myself to follow and um, uh, like invent based on those guidelines. So I think Amazon became kind of clear sign for that too, part of the interview process. So it was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
interesting. They were very different in a way, and I think for Amazon, I think after first interview, like a first on-site interview,
Mm,
um, I don't know why, but I felt very confident that I got this job because it was very overwhelming. It was the whole day, like almost 4 to 5 hours, and then I met maybe 6 to 7 people back to back, including lunch date. So it was constantly talking, constantly sharing what I can bring, what I can do, what my experience is. But I really enjoyed the whole process
mm.
because all the questions were based on my experiences. It wasn't something like, what do you foresee after 5 years? It was more of a, okay, what did you do when your situation was like this? So it was very, past tense. Like every question was, what did you do when you were in this position? Or tell me about when you had this problem, how did you solve it? So it was all based on experiences. So I just
Mm.
have to find the best kind of experience that I have that answers their question the best. Yeah, so it was overwhelming because I was talking so much, but at the same time,
Mhm.
I was like, okay, this is a good sign because I've shared everything that I got. And if I don't get it, that means they really don't need me there because I share all my personal experiences to them. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how they hired you there. You have like a great personality and you're really outspoken.
Oh, I'm really faking it really well for past few
A
minutes
few
with
minutes.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are like my weakest point, the situational questions. I think those are like the hardest ones, I think, when interviewers ask those questions. Like I get like nervous, like extremely nervous on those
Really?
questions. Yeah.
Why? Why? Talk to me. Why do you get nervous?
I don't know. It's really like hard coming up with like those type of like cases or scenarios. But
Mhm.
yeah, but I feel like I need to practice more on those. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. I think it's, yeah, it was definitely, Amazon was the first interview that I got a lot
Uh,
of past experience related questions because all the questions were related to what I experienced
mhm,
or what I did. So it was
mhm,
definitely my first time. Um, but mm, I think the first kind of UX designer track that when I interviewed for junior level positions, I never had like a question like, "What was your experience like?" Because I never had an experience, right?
right. Yeah.
So it was very visionary, and I think that could be maybe the tip that I can share for
Mm,
Amazon. I'm like a mid-level in Amazon right now, and if you're applying for mid-level in Amazon, try to think about all the like a unique personal experience that only you can bring to the
okay.
table that you can share. Maybe that could be a tip.
Yeah, I like that tip. It seems like a good tip. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay, great.
Yeah. What about Facebook? Was it like the same when you were being interviewed too, or was it a little different?
So for Facebook, so I didn't get a chance to do the on site
Uh-huh.
because I already made a choice for Amazon, but then I did up to all the phone screens that I had to do for the UX designer position, and through phone screens, it's I think there's not much that I could bring to this table, honestly, Oscar. But what I would say is for Facebook to be very casual and transparent, like you're talking to an alumni.
Mhm.
That's definitely kind of the vibe that I got. You know, people are very friendly. And I even talked to a recruiter through WhatsApp. You know, like
Oh,
it's
really?
like, yeah. So
Interesting.
yeah, so I think be prepared for that. Like they could be very casual in a way. And I think depends on your personality, it may feel a bit awkward or
Yeah.
you really like it. For me, it definitely gave me a little bit of awkwardness because it's a job interview, and
Mhm.
I guess for me, I have some sort of kind of guideline in my head that okay, job interview has to be this a little bit of seriousness. But for my standard, it was very casual
Mhm.
and very friendly and very open. So I think it would be kind of your job to figure it out whether you can share everything that you got while the interview is being very casual in a way.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. How long was the interview, by the way?
How long was the interview?
Yeah.
So for phone screens, how I do not remember. There were two designated sessions that I had to do.
Mhm.
One was talking about kind of my past experience, like my online portfolio, and then the second one was I get to choose one mobile app, or they can choose one, and then we kind of brainstorm together and share what we think about this app. And
Mhm.
I think all total it was about 2 hours, I think. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but it felt around 2 hours. But there's specific sessions,
Okay.
and it seems like that's the Facebook kind of always go to interview process. Like,
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, thanks for the information. Very, very, very useful. And I bet it's also going to be very useful for like my viewers too. I really
okay,
appreciate it, Suzanne.
oh,
um, yeah, you said you were working at Amazon Alexa, the shopping team, right? Like, how's that working for you, like so far?
it's so much fun,
Yeah,
Oscar.
yeah.
Yes, it's
Tell
been
me.
yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
been about 5 months, so it's not a long time,
Mm-hmm.
but it definitely feels a longer time than 5 months because there's just so much happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with Alexa Shopping, I my internal team is called Product Advisor. So what we do is it's whenever customers have any questions that you have about all the product that Amazon can bring or Alexa can bring, then we're here to help you to answer those questions. So it's very inspirational,
Mm-hmm.
challenging, and contextual. I think
Mm-hmm.
those three adjectives kind of experience like explains everything about my job role. Um, and it's inspiring because there's so many kind of new innovative ideas that we experience with Alexa because it's such a new home device
Mm-hmm.
that people wants to have, but when you get a whole Alexa, the reason that you get is not always for shopping. You know, it's most of people will say, "Oh, I want to listen to music,"
Uh-huh.
or I want to get weather or something like that. So it's very relatively new feature
Mm-hmm.
to promote and make it more efficient shopping experience with customers. So with that being, it can be very challenging because it's such a new fact, and it's hard to find what's been working or what's not been working because there's nothing to compare with. It's so innovative in a way.
Yeah.
So that's the challenging part. And last, contextual because I think it relates to innovation since it's such a new feature. You really have to know which framework or which kind of UX research you should rely on, and what kind of MLP, minimal lovable product that you can build for new features to make it successful in the long run? So all these questions is very vague, and it became very contextual. So yeah, so there's just a lot. There are a
Mhm.
lot to learn, and every day is a different day.
Right. Do you think um the voice feature is like the future that's we're gonna be like focusing on like later on in the future? Is that like what do you think about that?
Mm, I'm not. I don't want to say that it's a future of
Hmm.
our kind of design or our life, but
Uh,
it's definitely a choice that you can make to have more exciting, innovative, efficient lifestyle. So because like we are talking, right? Everybody
uh,
can talk.
yeah.
It's kind of you picking up what every customers can do and add the most innovative technology and have more fun experience together. It's that simple.
Right.
So I think that's probably kind of biggest challenge, right? That okay, it start with such a simple by just talking,
Hmm.
but how do we actually make it efficient with simple things that you everybody knows how to do it and create something that everybody's like, wow, that's amazing. I want to get Alexa now, right?
Yeah.
So I think for Alexa shopping, is getting customer number. It's not hard
Mm,
because a lot of people love Alexa. That's a good sign. But what's really challenging is finding the right solution for right problem and come up with something that everybody's like, oh, I can use that. Oh, that's actually relatively easy but fun at the same time. Or I want to get this for my friends and families because it's more for Amy or it's more for Brian. You know, so people can really share these ideas and share how to use these features. I think that's where probably our future is going. And I don't think it's only Alexa will be part of that. You know, it could be Nest Home, you know, like all the top technology brands are keen into V. So
mhm.
I think there's just a lot that we can do. And for Alexa, I think since I think because I'm a bit biased because I'm in Alexa shopping team, so I think there's so much that we can bring to the table with Alexa for shopping because I think Amazon is doing the best for the shopping part.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering, like, do a lot of people shop in Amazon, like, using the voice feature?
So I think it depends on where you compare with,
Yeah.
but definitely I think there are more customers who's still buying with Amazon.com or Amazon app more.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't think a lot of people are buying Alexa because they want to shop with Alexa because it's such a new
Yeah.
feature, like I said.
Mhm.
But my daily goal is, you know, really showcase great features that everybody loves, and more people will buy Alexa because they want to shop with Alexa. That's
Mhm.
it's still ing, it's still going.
Right. Yeah, as you can see in my background, I have, also, like, a voice, device.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't really use it that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Where do you use it the most for?
Music.
Mm.
If when I plugged it in, like, for the first time, I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to play some music in here," so it's a
Mhm.
Google Home, by the way. Yeah.
Yes, I know. Yes, I actually have that at home too.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we have Google and Alexa together. It's like cats and dogs together. It's a big thing in our household.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering, did you have a mentor, by the way, when you started, like, at Amazon?
Mentor, you
Yeah.
said? Yes, I do have a mentor. There's actually a mentoring program at Amazon
Uh-huh.
that it really depends on who you're looking for. It could be in your same org or it could be outside of your org. It's really up to you. So I have a mentor who's not in Alexa shopping, but he's more of a like Amazon shopping, so bigger
Uh-huh.
umbrella spectrum. And the reason why I chose him as a mentor is because I want to go into shopping route, and also Amazon Shopping been with Amazon longer than Alexa Shopping, so I thought there were a lot to learn
Uh-huh.
that I can bring to our team. So yeah, I have a mentor.
Cool. You could choose your mentor?
Yes. So at
Mhm.
Amazon, actually, a lot of people recommend you as a new Amazonian to have a mentor when you first get started,
Uh,
so that you can meet more diverse Amazonians um, and build your community. So yeah, so it's you don't have to. You're not losing any bucks if you don't have to have a mentor, but it's really
yeah.
up. If you want, you can
Oh,
definitely.
nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I definitely, if I work at Amazon or some other large company, definitely I want a mentor. I feel like
Yeah.
with a
Mhm.
mentor, you could grow like so much, and it's
Yeah.
just like kind of like a guidance too. So it's
Right.
really like a neat thing to have for any company.
Right. That's what
Yeah.
I liked about Springboard too.
Yeah.
There's a mentor that you can
Hmm.
you can really reach out to him or her anytime, as Springboard guideline says. But I think I talk to him every week. But
Yeah.
yeah, even every week, it felt so connected, and it definitely elevated my learning process.
Yeah. 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 Definitely. Yeah. I really like that feature how they have a mandatory meetings for mentors every week. Yeah. It's really nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you feel like you've grown like since working there at Amazon?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's really hard to grasp like whether I improved, because it's not like getting a degree. So that okay, I finished this degree and oh, I definitely improved myself.
Uh,
So there's no like a milestone that I can feel like I know exactly that okay, I definitely got this milestone. But I will say yes, because um, while I've been working at Amazon for 5 months,
mhm,
there are already several launch that we did, even though it was only 5 months. And we usually have launches like almost every 2 weeks. It's very fast.
mm,
So I think that really elevates my feeling that okay, I did something, and I did some contribution, and especially when our product owners share like metrics and data showing that a lot of customers actually use our features, that really makes me happy.
mhm.
So I think that, so I will say then yes, right? For for customers positive feedback, I think I can say yes.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like which like UX techniques do you guys use there a lot?
UX techniques. What do you mean by techniques?
Um,
Like tools or principles, or can you
yeah,
tell me a little bit
yeah, like
more?
anything like tools or principles or like anything. Like
Mm,
what?
mm, I think one thing that's relates to the most to what you learn from Springboard,
Mhm,
that's really happening at Amazon, is having research always, before, during, before you launch anything or before you hand off to your design to engineers. I think that was always, since I've worked at like a few startups before,
mm,
and since it's a startup, time is always limited. Like oh, like, let's build something, and there's always not enough time to find research or talk to actual users. Um, but I think while I was taking Springboard, it's part of the design track. Like there's like I think it was like number two thing that you learn. It's about the research, right? Like what kind of research that you can get.
mhm,
Um, you get to like, is it something that you actually talk to real people or you find from online, whatever it is. I think research become very impactful at Amazon. So there's a lot of data that Amazon has, but when I can't find actual kind of technical data before I come up with some new design, then there's always some research that I can rely on. I think I think that makes Amazon really strong. That it's a very research driven process.
Mm. Yeah, nice to hear that. Uh, do you guys like use like any like field studies or like diary studies or um yeah, like any like competitive maybe studies or like when you're doing your research?
Yeah, so it really depends on the projects,
Uh-huh.
what kind of research that we'll be doing. So some could be like a survey, or some could be like actual getting like a qualitative feedback from users. And these days everything is virtual, so
Hmm.
um, we gather some users based on the criteria that we think it's the most close to the target audience, and
Hmm.
we narrow down kind of people based on what we're looking for, and from there we talk to like 5 to 10 people and trying to get qualitative feedback on it, and those could be helpful. Or second, when we do survey, we reach out to a lot more number than 5 to 10 people, and get feedback from there too. So there
Mm.
is, I think, those two are kind of two big bucket of route that we try to get the research on. And lastly, always, if you can find other like research that's already done from online that you can back up your design, that's been always helpful too.
Oh, well, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, so I was gonna ask you, like, what does your like typical day look like at like while working at Amazon?
Typical day,
Mhm.
I drink coffee and
Of course, right?
to be honest, honestly,
Yeah,
every day is so different, Oscar, and that's
yeah.
what I love about my job right now. I can't predict that this is like 9 to 5 a job that
Uh-huh.
I know exactly what I'm doing, but at the same time, it's not chaotic. So it's very open and very flexible. Uh, but at the same time, it's very analytical.
Mhm.
So you really have to be a leader of your time to define, okay, today I need like 2 hours of research time, then block your calendar. And today I need to talk to product owner to move to the next phase of my project. Then you block the calendar. I think that's kind of my daily
Mm.
life of work. That every day or every week, even sometimes on Sundays like today, I think about, okay, next week what do I have to prioritize, and just block my calendar or write it down like what my priority is. So I love check marks. So
Mhm.
hopefully every Friday, I'm like done with all those check marks.
Mhm.
And if I'm not, then I always bring it back. So it's like a weekly sprint that I set up. So I think that's kind of, I know it's vague, but it's I always try to define like what is the priority and make sure that on Friday, can I celebrate? Can I have a mini celebration of all the priority that
Yeah.
I put before Monday or on Monday. I think that's kind of how I've been kind of working at Amazon so far.
Yeah, that's what I started doing for Springboard. I actually started like blocking out time now for each day because like before I wasn't doing that and it was a lot harder to track. But now
Mhm.
that I'm doing that, it's like a lot like more useful. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think Springboard, it's great practice even
Mhm.
working from home, because these days, every design most of the designers are working from home,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So because when I took Springboard last year, taking education online, it was definitely more new than right now.
Right.
Because right, so I definitely got some questions like, Suzanne, is it really worth it? Because you're not really meeting people who's actually taking the class, and it's like everything is virtual. So is that worth for your blog? Like I've definitely got some of those questions from my peers,
Mhm.
but I think now it's a new normal. Everything is virtual, and it's such a great practice to really plan your kind of weekly sprint.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
agree.
and then you can talk about these
Mhm.
with your mentor who's working as a UX designer, whether your weekly sprint schedule makes sense for them.
Mhm.
And ask for the advice. Like, do you have any tips that you can share? And you can use that learning or that schedule kind of weekly sprint that you're doing as
Mhm.
springboard and bring it to your next job.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I think now I look at it, I'm jealous that you're taking freeware right now because it's such a good practice.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Um, yeah, so, like, what tools do you use at Amazon?
What tools?
Yeah, what tools?
So tools are very open. We sometimes we use Sketch a lot, and we use InVision, and we use Figma a little bit, and we use Adobe XD.
Oh, yeah? So
So
it's all the 3 of them, the 3, the big designing for UX right now,
yes,
programs, yeah.
yeah. So Sketch mostly for like making frameworks,
Oh,
and for XD we use it because it has audio feature. That's
mm,
that's number one reason why we use Adobe XD. And then for Envision is for prototyping. So either designers get to choose whether you want to do prototyping with Adobe XD or Envision. It's really up
okay.
to you. Yeah.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Like, how do you guys measure, like, if something went, like, successful for, like, something that went, like, a successful for, like, a good user experience? Like, how do you guys measure that?
That's a great question. It's first of all, there are multiple ways that we
Uh,
do. One is we always set up metrics, like
mhm,
so our not product advisors, product owners always define what kind of metrics that we can build our feature success most accurately.
uh-huh,
So as a UX designer, you need to really team up with product owners and understand those metrics. I do not have, like a metric. Like I don't know a lot about metric per se because
mhm,
I never learned how to do it. So I always reach out to product owners to make sure that we are clearly defined and ask for what kind of metrics that we'll be measuring. And if there's something that I don't know, I always ask for questions. That's the least I can do to learn.
mhm.
And I'm still learning, Oscar, honestly.
Yeah,
And I think that becomes really strong, that you really have to learn how to read and understand those metrics that your design is getting measured for. So that's one way.
mhm,
And second is by user study. So before we actually implement, we run the user testing and hear the feedback from actual users who will be using our future features.
mhm.
And if we get all the positive feedback, then that gives you a clear sign that okay, it's going to be a successful feature more. But it doesn't mean that it's always
Right.
that everything is fine.
Mhm,
But it's a great kind of filter in a way and great assurance that okay, this definitely has something that we can bring Amazon more successful, and let's test it. So
yeah,
always iterate, test. So I think Amazon is really good at launch something and see how it goes, and if there's some improvement that we need to make, then we make a quick improvement. Amazon is really fast in a way, and I think that's why became so successful, because there's always trial and error, um, and people are not afraid to say no or disagree. That's one of the leadership principle, to you disagree and commit. So if you disagree, then commit why you're disagreeing and come up with something, some solution that you can test.
Mm.
So the process is very open and flexible. I think that makes Amazon really unique.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Do you think a lot of time is dedicated to like UX research, like at Amazon?
No, I think I always feel like I need more time for research,
Mhm.
honestly. Yeah, because everybody is getting excited that okay,
Yeah.
let's launch this. It's such a good idea. Let's launch this, right? So
Mhm.
when your idea is like inspiring and innovative, and everybody loves it, it's a good sign. But at the same time, then there's some research part that we might miss because we want to launch so fast. So I think it's part of my job to make sure that we have some research to rely on, and we do everything that we could to get the actual customers' feedback before engineers get to implement. Because by the time that after engineers implement, it'll be way too late to find that actually nobody really cares. It was only our internal team really cared. That's the worst sign, right?
Yeah.
So always it's I think always I try to, if there's no research, then it's kind of always like a yellow or red light that okay, where's the research, like is this really ready for implementation? I think that's always good to check as a UX designer.
Mhm. Do you have to like talk to stakeholders a lot when working there?
So I especially for initial stage.
Uh-huh.
So because usually most of the features that we do at Alexa Shopping, there are a lot of new features. So if it is brand new features, then there are a lot of stakeholders to add and get bought on whether this is a cool idea that we should move forward.
Mhm.
But versus if it is a project that we know that it's been working really well, but we're iterating. We're not changing that much for the framework, but we're trying for something new, kind of category or new content or something like that. Then the process is a bit more minimal
Mhm.
um, because there's not so much feedback that we need to align between like from business to product owners or engineers. But for any projects, there's always product person, engine lead, and UX designer. And three of us always we weekly or even daily to make sure that we're on the same page. That's always the main stakeholders for my daily life.
Oh, cool, cool. That's awesome information. Thank you. Um, yeah, I had another question. I'm full with questions. So like for someone looking into like a position as a UX designer, what suggestions do you have for them, like to successfully get a job like a job at Amazon?
So for someone who recently changed career,
Yeah,
uh,
and yeah.
UX design,
Mhm.
and get the first step, like first UX job, right?
Mhm.
First UX designer job.
Right.
Mm, uh, I would, I will say, um, make sure that your portfolio really shows your interest the
Mhm.
most because
Okay.
everybody's different, right? Everybody's unique in your own way, and there are a lot of UX designers. I always admit it. I was like, there are a lot of UX designers, but I always try to think what makes me different. And it
Mm,
sounds very selfish, but you really need to be selfish in your own design
mm,
because if you're not, then you can be replaced by somebody else. That's the honest truth, right? So, what really makes you you, and does that show on your portfolio? I think that's probably the first questions that I want to share to every UX designer who's looking for the first job.
mm,
Uh, and and that's very contextual. But how do you show that through the actual technical process of your project? I think that's the hard part.
mm,
So let's say, for example, um, I'm interested in travel. Let's say right now it's not, but before when I applied for Amazon, I actually was in Europe, so I was like, oh, traveling is always number one interest for me. Um, so I was like, there's just as more I travel in Europe, there are just so many problems that it's just a fun like a UX designer project. For example, I went to let's say Madrid, and I don't speak Spanish. Let's say I don't speak Spanish, and then it says the palace is open today from 9 to 5, but when I got there, it's closed. So I checked on their website, I checked on their social media. It all kind of looks like it's open because they don't mention anything.
Mhm.
But when I went, it ruined my whole day because it was closed for the whole day. And that was number one thing that I wanted to do that day. And it just ruined my whole schedule. And I had to find something else. But everything was too far away. So there's nothing that I could do on that Sunday. I just wasted one day because of that, lack of information that I could get.
Mhm.
That's opportunity right there. So from there, as a UX designer, how do you come up with a product that can solve this user problem,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So I think that should be always a mental model that we can have as a UX designer, based on your interests or your daily life every day. It could be COVID, it could be cooking, it could be biking if you're a biker.
Mhm.
Is there something that you can make a little bit of difference to solve this problem? And then and then based on the learning that you get from Springboard, trying to find, okay, what research method that I need to do, right? Or which prototyping tool should I use? Or what kind of technique that I should do, right? And then you build a portfolio based on that. And then it will be so much easier when you do actual interview with a company that you want to work for.
Mhm.
It shows who you are, it shows what your passion is. It shows what your hobby is. It shows what you are so different than others. It just the list goes on. That's my 2 cents that I can share, Oscar.
No, it's brilliant. I really like that. I honestly think the same. Like today, I was like working out, and then I was listening to the music, and then I use the Apple Music, and
Mhm.
then some new feature that they added was um, the lyrics when you're like listening to the song, it was like on, and I was like, wow, that's really really neat. Like I thought that was like really cool, but like that mentality to have always in your mind, like if you
Mhm.
could improve something, that's like something like a UX designer should always have. And
Yeah,
I like that you mentioned that. It's really really good.
yeah,
Mm.
right. So because here you go, I never actually checked lyrics. That actually shows how different we are,
Uh-huh.
right? So that's part of your kind of daily how you listen to music. You check lyrics, but
Mm.
from there, does maybe you can make it voice readable for lyrics.
Oh
That's
yeah.
already a feature,
Hmm.
right? Or maybe if you want to share this lyrics, it's only the part of the lyrics that you want to send it to your girlfriend or to your family, then maybe you can share. That's a feature. So even that little thing that you do as a daily, like when you don't realize it, that could actually lead to so many different UX design projects. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah.
that's the fun part of being UX designer.
Yeah.
So much that we could
Yeah.
do.
I feel like this is just like the beginning of many things in the future. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. I got one last question for you.
All right.
So like what's like the starting like salary for UX designer at Amazon?
Mm, honestly, I think what's it's too confidential to be
Oh,
honest.
okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I
But
totally understand.
but
Uh,
there's Glassdoor. I think if you go to Glassdoor, you can always find what is kind of range
mhm.
that Amazon pays for a UX designer. And sorry that I can't be so transparent about
No,
this
no,
one
no, it's totally
because
okay. Yeah.
every situation is so different.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I don't want to share something
Mm,
that could be different, right?
mm,
Then
mm.
but if you're curious, if the reason why you're asking about this is because I guess I want to ask you, like, what's the kind of main purpose of asking this question? Maybe I can answer in a different way to be more helpful.
I was just wondering because I don't know, because maybe like small and medium and then large companies offer like different salaries. Like, so I wasn't like too sure
Mm.
about that.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. I How can I answer this? I think before before Amazon UX designer,
Uh-huh.
I worked as a freelancer in many different places, and I
Mm,
worked at like agency startups. So I worked at many different places before Amazon. And if I think about only salary, does Amazon pays more than any other companies? No,
mhm.
but
Okay.
but what's great about Amazon is they give you stock option, and
Okay.
Amazon stock is number one most successful technology brand, right? Stock. So I
Mhm,
think you gotta see it in a long run.
mhm.
That if you work at Amazon, there's just so much. They really make sure that you succeed in your personal life with professional life together. So I think that's probably one of the big benefit of
Yeah. Yeah.
working at Amazon. And I think salary is really important because I think the probably worst part of me, if I'm not happy with salary, that I'd be like every day, it'd be so miserable. Right? It'd be so miserable, like, oh my God,
Yeah.
why am I working at this company? Like, what's the purpose? And
Yeah.
if it's not salary that you're really worried about,
Mm,
then does it really like make you happy?
mm.
And to be honest with you, like if I feel like I'm getting underestimated, I don't think I'll be happy.
Right.
So I think that's the question that you should ask, like when you negotiate with an offer. I always try to think of like a budget that really makes you happy and you're absolutely, and like enthusiastic to come to work. Because if you're not, then what's the point of working as a UX designer?
Yeah.
You should be more. Then I think it's gonna affect your job quality. So I think that's my 2 cents here. Here we go. So, yeah. So I
Yeah.
think about salary, I think Amazon will make you happy. Let's put it that way. What
Yeah, I
about
love
you?
your answer. I think it's totally like true that whatever makes you happy, you know. I like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, especially during this difficult time. Like we
Yeah.
really have to find something that makes us feel more safe and more
Hmm.
happy.
Hmm. Yeah, it was sorry I went over limit by like 30 minutes, which is a lot. And I appreciate your time
Somehow.
so much, Suzanne. Like you can't even believe, and you allow me to record is incredible. I really like that, and all your answers are really genuine and brilliant. Do you have like anything that you want to say to my viewers or my subscribers?
Mm, subscribe Oscar. And if you're curious about Oscar's work, then ask Oscar about his portfolio. Yeah, and Oscar, thanks for having me. I
Mhm.
really enjoyed. I didn't know that it was 30 minutes past already. That's a good sign.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
was having so much fun like talking to you. I kind of like lost track of time. Sorry about that.
We're having a good time, so
Yeah,
that's a good sign.
I like your personality a lot. It's really fun. I really enjoy talking to you too.
I think it's time to hang up now before I reveal my actual myself.
uh, yeah, yeah, you don't want to see my true self either.
All right. Well,
uh,
that's a fun way to end the call. There's to be continued. There's more to
yeah,
share.
to be continued.
Yes.
Hopefully, you could be in another video in the future too. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes. Well, Oscar, thank you for your time. And yeah, it's
yeah.
really nice to meet you today.
Yeah. It was nice meeting you too. Yeah. Take care, Suzanne.
Okay, you too.
Have a
Take
good day.
care.
Yeah.
You too. Bye.
Bye.